Praise to the gaming gods! We don't have to deal with The Last of Us forever!
Jetzt zock ich Fortnite und trink Cola. Yippee!
Well, kind of. If you guys haven't heard, The Last of Us might not be getting a part 3, at least according to the creator. But then again, this is the same guy who originally said there was more story to tell. He had a concept of an idea, and now apparently he doesn't want to make the game. Not really sure what's going on here. What's going on, guys? Talonwood Direct Gaming, and we have got to talk about this because we have the biggest defender when it comes to The Last of Us. We are, of course, joined by the one, the only Little Bobby, and I guess that Lemon guy as well. But if you guys haven't heard right now, The Last of Us creator was talking during an interview when it came to the season 2 of the HBO show, and he literally quoted right here, "I was waiting for this question. I guess the only thing I would say is don't bet on there being more of Last of Us. This could be it." And of course, everyone started to think about, wait, hang on. Back in January of 2023, he literally was also quoted by the Hollywood Reporter saying, "I think there's more story to tell." So which is it? Are we not going to be getting more of the story? Are we officially done with The Last of Us? It's really hard to say because this game, at least Last of Us Part 2, Last of Us Part 1, not so much, but definitely Last of Us Part 2, was very, what's the word I am looking for? Subjective, controversial, insert word here that just, whether it was due to the leaks or not, or just how everyone thought about certain characters getting kind of beat over the head. It's, you bring this game up with anybody, they either love it or hate it. I don't think there's anything in between when it comes to this game. So, of course, we got the ultimate defender here. Bobby, I gotta ask you, man. Do you think The Last of Us Part 3 should exist? Is there more story to tell? Or was 2 such a perfect game in your eyes? Because, I mean, you literally play it like twice a year, I would say. That you just, you think it's done. This is where the story should end. They don't need to do anything else. Except maybe unless they do some kind of prequel stuff. But that's a whole other topic. What are your thoughts? I need to pick your brain.
I don't think there needs to be another Last of Us. There could be. You know, we talked about this a little bit earlier. If they were going to do another Last of Us, I would be interested in seeing what Joel and Tommy did before we ran into Joel at the start of Last of Us 1. Because, like, we know there's some dark stuff that happened back then with, like, Joel's interrogation methods and Tommy, like, absolutely hating his guts in the first Last of Us. And if they did something different, I think they could just go with completely different characters, honestly. Joel and Ellie's story, like, wraps up in such a like wonderfully heartbreaking way that I don't think you need to go any further into that. But personally, like, yeah, you're right. I'm literally playing Last of Us 2 again right now. I do play that game about twice a year. I honestly do think that is one of the greatest games ever made. The gameplay is ridiculously good if you are one of those people who saw leaks or just were like, it's woke, or they killed Joel, or what. Like, you missed out on one of the best playing games of all time. And the story is one of those things we talked about this a while back, that the story, like, I'm one of those people who is totally content with a story making me hate my life for a little bit, like just leaving me so depressed that, you know, like, I'm okay with that. I love those kind of stories where it's just a soul-crushing ending. And The Last of Us 2 absolutely delivered on that, where by the end of that, I honestly feel like that story is just a test of empathy. And the coolest thing about it, in my opinion, like, that, it was weird because when I first played it and you switch over to playing as Abby, I was just as uncomfortable as everybody else. I was like, yeah, I don't like this. And that's how you're supposed to feel, because you're supposed to view this person as the enemy. And then you go through their story and you realize, like, oh, okay, like, she's not all bad. She has a story, right? And so when you get through the game, by the end, spoiler alert for a 5-year-old game, by the way, Abby and Ellie fight each other twice in the game. The first time he plays Abby, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. And Ellie's like, actually kind of a hard boss. But then you play as Ellie at the end, and they're both just so, like, beaten down and broken. And you've played through both of their stories, and you just don't want to do it. And that's so good. I think you could just honestly leave it alone. Like, you can. And the story has been told. You don't need to add any more to it. The characters had their super impactful moments. And yeah, like if they're going to do it, just go to something completely different. Or like if you somehow come up with like the gem, like you figure out how to take these characters further, I guess. Okay, but you know, do we need it? No, I don't think so. And I love The Last of Us 1 and 2. So
I think when it comes to these particular games, like first off, for anyone who ever tries to deny that they technologically look good, the gameplay, one of the biggest things with these two games is the AI. Like the AI with the enemies and everything is like top level in terms of how the games are made and everything like that. If you look at it from that perspective, like, and you say, oh, it's a bad game, I think you're trying to just hate, essentially. Now, when it comes to the story and all that stuff, obviously everyone's gonna have their own opinions. I myself, I don't like feeling like crap when I play a video game. So after like a few hours in the game, I was just like, not for me. Just, it's not my game personally. A lot of other people loved it, obviously. That's just the way it is, right? But I was just like, I don't like feeling like this. I'm gonna go play something else. And that was that, essentially. But Lemon, what about you? What are your personal thoughts? Do you think they need to make more of The Last of Us, or do you kind of on the same, the end of where Bobby is, where it's just like, just let it be, go make whatever the Intergalactic is their next game, or, you know, do other stuff? What are your personal thoughts?
I mean, I think they could have stopped Last of Us Part 2 before the actual ending sequence. It was just at the house. I was like, we're good. We're good. Everything's golden. Don't need to do anything else. So I'm even more, let's not make more games. I mean, they could do cool spin-off and stuff, but at this point, yeah, go do something else.
Well, unfortunately, I will say one thing. It does, you know, we here joke about it a lot, but obviously a lot of people don't joke about it too much. The whole concept of, oh, we can't get a remake, you know, part 3 or anything. We can't get remake version 10.5 or anything after you've done a remaster 10 billion times with this game, because that's always the joke when it comes to this game. It's all the remasters and the remakes of it. It's just like Horizon when it comes to when it releases. You know, the joke is that, oh, if the next Horizon game releases, it's going to release next to the next big game or anything like that. So unfortunately, that means that this is, for right now, not going to be a thing. So it is also, I will say though, especially after seeing the whole thing with Shuhei, where he talked about how he actually saw the multiplayer for The Last of Us, that whole live service thing that wasn't supposed to happen, or was supposed to happen, but then Naughty Dog canceled it and everything. It is kind of a shame that if you like this particular world and the, you know, the setting and the way that the graphics are and everything, that they are not going to be able to continue to play that in some form or capacity unless you go back and play part 1 and 2. Because according to Shuhei, the game actually looked really good, but then the team themselves was like, hey, we don't want to become a live service game studio or anything, which makes sense. It's just kind of sad that they couldn't go and maybe hire another team to do that, or take a team that was done on something and put them on there if they wanted to, or and you know, somewhere in between, or you literally just hired Bungie, let them do it, I guess, or something like that. But it is because I know, Bobby, you were super excited when it came to the Last of Us Online, or the factions multiplayer, and unfortunately that doesn't seem like it's gonna be see the light of day, whether regardless they were like, hey, we don't want to make this, and then, but it also questions the, you know, us as be like, hey, why not just have somebody else work on it? And was Naughty Dog like, no, only we work on it or nobody, essentially? So,
well, it's Naughty Dog's thing, right? Like that's the thing about a studio, is if you're gonna have someone take over your IP or assist in your IP, you need to make sure that they are on the same page, right? Mm-hmm. That was one of the things about Vicarious Visions and was it High Moon working on Destiny 2 early on. Like High Moon was like, oh, like they were okay, they made good stuff, but Vicarious Visions really understood Destiny 2 and made awesome content for that game. But I mean, that's why like Sony and Bungie have not brought anyone else in since then, because they haven't found people who could support the game the right way. And I imagine Naughty Dog is probably even more particular than Bungie is. You know, Bungie's whole lifeblood is like, yeah, we have to make Destiny 2 work right now. And then like Marathon, they're going to have to make Marathon work. Naughty Dog is like, we don't want to do this. Let's just go and make Intergalactic. Like, people are going to buy Intergalactic when it comes out. We're going to make a cool game that like leads the industry. They're you know, I'd say it's Naughty Dog and Rockstar who really do push the industry the most in terms of just like technical.
Yeah,
right?
the technical side of the games, which again we stated beforehand. Like, technically looking at these games, if you say it's bad, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you like whether or not you like the story of Last of Us 2 on a technical level, you cannot say that game is anything less than a masterpiece. I'm playing it. It's like on the PS5 Pro, the quality mode with 60 FPS looks ridiculously good for a game that is 5 years old. I'm like, this looks like it. Like, if you told me, oh, this released late 2024, I would believe you. Like, it's so crazy. Things just like reflection, subsurface scattering on characters like skin, like just like the art direction of like the clickers and all that, like, and how much they put into little details in that game. It's just nutty.
Especially in this current generation where a lot of games are releasing either very buggy or just very blurry, especially with upscaling and, you know, a lot of it from Unreal Engine 5 and everything. Technically, again, cannot say this game looks bad or anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like, you know, I have full faith in Naughty Dog. I know a lot of people are just like, Naughty Dog's trash. No, Naughty Dog is not trash. Naughty Dog, just like Rockstar, has like I'm probably not going to be into GTA 6, but I'm not going to go, oh yeah, GTA 6 is just going to be bad and dumb. Like, no, it's Rockstar. Like, you from right, like I heard that in the leaked game footage that came out like what 3 years ago now, that like you could adjust the steering column in GTA 6. Like, that's stupid. There's no reason you need to do that in a game ever, but Rockstar puts that amount of detail in there, right? Just like Naughty Dog puts in the amount of detail in their game of like just little stuff like, oh, my backpack turned and closed this cabinet because I turned and it did that, or like the grass like deforms when I walk over it and it stays imprinted for a couple seconds before it kind of pops back up but doesn't look quite the same. It's just stuff like that.
They even had that stuff back in like even Uncharted 2 with the snow and everything, and that was back on the PS3 days. So again, technically, they've always been really good at that stuff. So like when it comes to, like, I'll personally say this, just for me personally, when it comes to their next game, the Intergalactic, obviously can't really judge it on a single CGI trailer because we don't know anything about the game or anything like that. Technically speaking, that game is going to look amazing. It's Naughty Dog. We know it's going to look like that. Gameplay wise, story wise, can't really say. They claim it's supposed to be their like biggest jump in terms of gameplay. Whatever that means, though, I'm not really sure, because we know it's gonna be third person, but is it going to be more of a action game? Is it going to be a shooter, right? Because the girl in the trailer literally pops out this like energy beam sword thing, right? So, and as a bounty hunter, apparently, probably gonna have some shooting mechanics to do it, but we're not really sure though. So we can't really judge story or gameplay or anything like that. But technically speaking, yeah, it's a Naughty Dog. It's gonna do just fine in terms of how it looks.
Again, I'm happy with like how Intergalactic is looking right now. You know,
I need to see more. I need to see actual gameplay. That's always been my stance. I need to see actual gameplay.
That last little bit was, I think that was gameplay.
But it's like 2-3 seconds. Like we
need actual, like,
we need an actual trailer for gameplay, right? Like because from the moment the trailer starts,
for a couple years. So
no. Anyone who thinks Intergalactic is coming out this year, like I've seen some people think it's coming out this year. I'm just like, no. earliest that game will come out will be winter 2026. That is the earliest I could see it coming out.
PS6 game. It's a PS6 launch title.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. Released on both the PlayStation 5 and PS6. I can see it happening easily.